Divine intervention as mop-up operations begin in Gauteng. Sporadic incidents of looting still being reported in KwaZulu-Natal. And legendary musician and songwriter Tshepo Tsula has passed away. And if you're over 35 years of age, online registrations for COVID-19 vaccinations are finally open for your age group. Some communities in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng have vowed to continue protecting their neighborhoods from looters. Community policing fora in different areas say they will only begin to feel safe when members of the SANDF become visible. At least 25,000 members of the SANDF will be deployed to KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng to deal with violence and looting as soon as the National Security Council and President Ramaphosa approve the move. At the same time, Soweto residents have volunteered to clean up Jabulani Mall this morning. The mall is still considered a crime scene after stores were damaged and looted. About 200 residents, some with brooms and buckets, have been left fuming. Some have left while others are still waiting at the entrance of the mall with the hope that they will be allowed in. Clean-up operations are already underway at malls such as Deep Kloof Square. Clean-up operations are also underway in Alexandra Mall. Our reporter Nozintombi Miya is standing by. Thank you very much, Nozintombi, for joining us. What's happening in Alexandra?
Thank you so much, Nompu. The visuals that we're bringing to you now is a wider shot of the situation in Alexandra, right here at the Alex Mall. The queue here outside the Alex Mall stretches for more than 1.5 kilometers, almost close towards Tutumani. And we're going to try and speak to some of the people who have been standing in the queue for as long as 3 hours. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to me. How long have you been waiting in this queue for?
It's about 2 hours now. I've been waiting for a long time now.
It must be very frustrating that this is the only mall that's available to you to be able to get your groceries and items that you need.
We can't do nothing. We want some food. We must get some food. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you
so much. Nompu, we're going to try and speak to more people here who are also waiting in the queue. Hi, sir. You've also been waiting for quite some time. It must be so frustrating having to wait in such a long queue.
Yes, it is frustrating because we've been waiting for almost 2 hours. Yeah, it's very bad because we're not even sure what we're going to look for. We'll get it by the shops.
Thank you so much, Nompu. You can see the queue is moving quite rapidly. We're going to also try and talk to some of the ladies that are also standing here. And you'll see, Nompu, the queue is divided in two sections. This section here on my left is the queue that is the male queue or the men queue. And the reason why the center manager has done that is because he says that the men who carry backpacks need to be searched first before they can enter the queue. And as you can see, the entrance inside to the mall is a different entrance to the one that they use to come out. And you can see almost right next to me here, there's armed security, making sure that they're keeping a very close and tight watch on the queue. And we're going to try and speak to more people here. We're going to speak to the queue of the women. I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking scenes. Women with babies and children here, forced to queue for more than 2-3 hours and having to carry out lots of groceries because it's become very difficult for them to be able to access shopping anywhere else. We're going to try and speak to some of these ladies here. Thank you so much. Hi, Sisinjani. How long have you been waiting in the queue for, my dear?
It's been 2 or 3 hours. Now I'm Sutu. I'll try and speak Sutu.
So, see, it must be very frustrating until I'm queue for 2-3 hours or dijo.
Imagine you go reka borotho ko Pick n Pay wa reka sepe nning o ya ko wa tlo reka. This thing I fair ko rena cause re shile bana ko ntlong. So no bana ba litile for 3 to 4 hours so kra ba ile ko di next door ba ile kopa something. This is not fair and it affected too much.
Mara lena as batho ba Alex le ring ka batho ba chitsitseng ba nka dintho kwa ko pen le ko ntweneng le ko plaza.
What's up, shop freedom. That shop was so cheap, very everything. So no, I want to go Pick and Pay in Raspenda. So but for their own reasons. We can't clarify on that, but this is not fair.
Nompu, thank you so much. The lady in Sesotho there just explaining that it's become really frustrating for them to access food. Their children have to go next door to try and beg to get food. They are also lamenting and, lambasting the looters who looted those shops such as the Freedom it's a small little complex called Freedom Complex as well. That's right opposite the Pan-African Mall and the plaza that's just, less than a kilometer away from there. And it's become absolutely difficult. This is the knock-on effect that we're seeing here as a result of the looting. And we know that the army personnel as well as the South African police and private security went door to door last night, from in the afternoon till very late last night, trying to recover some of the goods that were looted. One of the officers that we spoke to yesterday said in an aside that they are unlooting what the looters have looted. And it truly symbolizes now the situation that is happening now with the cleanup operations that we've seen taking place across the province as well as in Cape Town and the affected areas, and the knock-on effect that the looting has had, specifically in Alex, where we're seeing more than 1 million people now forced to utilize just one mall called the Alex Mall because all the other shops around them are not open because they were looted, and the owners of those shops are now waiting for the insurance to come and make assessments before they can even look at the possibility of trying to do any cleanup operations. So Nampo, it's an absolutely devastating and difficult situation. Everybody loses in a situation like this, Nampo, because now the business owners have lost and the people themselves are suffering, the women and children, the men that now have to take out a whole day out of their working day to just queue into the one available shopping mall just to be able to access basic goods such as bread, milk, sugar. And that's the situation that people are finding themselves here in Alex, Nompu.
It is an absolute nightmare, Nozintombi, more so because we're still in a pandemic and people are having to join these long queues.
Yeah, absolutely, Nompu. And what the center manager said is that he's had to spend, he had to go and speak to the big managers of the mall, the property owners, as well as the different tenants to try and ensure that they felt safe enough and they were willing to come on board to try and come up with a safe plan that would ensure, firstly, there was sufficient social distancing and that people were sufficiently counted in their numbers so that there's not more than X amount of people at any time going into the shops. And we did go into the mall a little bit earlier on, and it, as much as the queues outside are quite long, inside there's a lot more social distancing happening. There are quite a number of shops that are open, but you can just sort of feel the tension in the air that, it's not just the issue of the looting, protesting that's continuing, that is going on. It is also the issue of people worried about their safety, making sure that they have masks on. And we saw the security at the entrance of the of the Alex Mall, making sure that they turn back people who don't have their mask. And Nompu, we're still seeing people who are refusing to comply with wearing their masks. They've waited 2-3 hours in the queue, some with masks, some without masks, trying to get into the mall. And when they turn back because they don't have the mask, it then becomes a slight altercation. Words are exchanged, but security has to ensure that they are trying to maintain the safety of the residents themselves that are coming into the mall to try and do their shopping, and to ensure that they are adhering to the COVID regulations of any people entering a premises such as this Alex Mall, to ensure that the shoppers as well as the tenants of the mall are kept safe at all times. Nompu.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, my colleague there, Nozintombi Miya, reporting from Alexandra.